Hello everyone, this is Bamidele from Delaware Studios. You're welcome to another episode of Java Programming. This is the concluded part of Java Polymorphism. This is a recap from the previous part of the polymorphism, and we're going to continue from where we actually stopped. If you're watching this video for the first time, I will implore you to get your hands on the first part of the Java polymorphism. With that, you can be able to understand where we are at the present point in time. But if you have been with me right from the first part, let's get coding. Let's get our hands dirty. So, in my employee stock plan, we created a constructor, an empty constructor. I would like to create another method which is going to be public. Int grant stock. Okay, what's it gonna take as a parameter? It's going to take an object of employee as the parameter. Polymorphism is being used, taking up an object. Okay, so with this I'm going to test for some things, but before that, the stock comment is granted based on the employee type. Yeah, we're gonna test what type of employee are you before we grant a stock to them. That's just what that's gonna do. So we're gonna use an if statement. Sorry, we're gonna take the emp instance of are you part. That's the meaning of instance of. Is it a class of director? Is this employee a director in a nutshell? If it's it, return stuff. Return the director shares to us. Let's get the director shares. If you are a director, that's just what that is doing. Else, if you're not, what are you gonna do? We're going to use an if statement. This is a nested if statement. An if statement in an else statement. We're going to test for this again. If the emp object is an instance of, that's if the employee is a manager. What are you gonna do? You return the manager shares. So else, just return some stuff to us. Return employee shares. That's pretty cool. No? So right there, let's take a recap on our Java class. We have the admin that extends the employee, and we set the admin constructor calling on the super, which have some things alike. That's what that's doing. Let's look at the employee Java class, with 4 fields: the emp ID, name, SSN, salary. We set the emp ID into the constructor by instantiating using this keyword. We get the employee ID, we get the name, we get the SSN, we get the salary, and also we set the name. There's one particular method I want us, or let's say 2 methods that we're going to incorporate in this employee Java class. The next method I'll be declaring here is the public void raise salary. Yes, when we're going to give a raise to the employee salary. This is going to be a structured employee Java application. Double, we're going to take a double, the increase. Okay, and I do it this way. Now we're going to make sure the increase is not less than 0. Okay, that's what we're gonna make sure is gonna happen. Cite that. Okay. We're gonna use an if statement. If the increase is greater than 0, return, just do something for us. Continue to add the salary to the increase. Salary plus equals to the increase. Okay, I think that's well understood. If you have gotten through the fundamentals of Java, you should be able to understand that. We're going to create another method or so. This is going to be a string method from the string class. ToString. Okay. So what we're going to return? We're going to return some funky things there. We're going to return set a label, employee ID. Okay. So for that, we're going to concatenate it with the get emp ID method, and also concatenate it with a new line. So it's going to be, it's not going to be rumpled up. We're going to do a double quote, new line. Okay. So we're still going to concatenate it with something else, but it's going to be on the new line. Employee name. Or the employee name. Concatenate it with the get name method. I think that's fine. With a new line. Okay. I'm going to concatenate it up to the employee SSN. SSN. Okay. What we're going to get this time, we're going to get the SSN. Okay. We concatenate with a new line. Okay. What label are we going to do this time around? The employee salary. Salary. Okay, that's salary. So what we're going to get, we're going to get salary. Okay, this time around, we're going to do some fucking thing here. We're going to change the number. We're going to get a number format. Call it on the get currency instance. So we're going to get a format which is going to pass an object into it, or a method called get salary. Salary method. I'll close it this way. That's fine. Our employee class is well structured now. Let's get to look at the engineer. See maybe some things we need to find. This is just the number, just like the directory. So let's check out the manager. The manager already entered. Okay. Get manager. That's something we need to add to this manager class. We need to create an annotation, which is the toString we need. Annotation public string toString. Okay, we're going to return super. You call on the toString method, concatenate it with a space here, with a new line. We call it department. Okay. and you also try to concatenate it with the get department name method. This is pretty fine. This is very, very cool and good to go. Now we need to implement a lot of things in our employee test Java class. This is the senior Java class. This is called the caller method. This is where we call almost everything. Now we specify the import position, admin, employee, manager, engineer. Now we also have to import the director. We have the director there. So Ctrl V. This is gonna be director. Sorry for that. So first of all, we have our main method where we instantiate the engineer class, giving it a variable called eng. We pass in some parameters into it. We did the same for manager, admin. We're going to do for director. I need to copy this guy, replicate it. So it stands for the director. I'm going to call out director. Sorry for that. Director. What we're going to give it? We're going to give it the new director. Okay, what we're going to pass into it, we're going to pass first the ID, the name. Let's call it Susan Young. Okay, this is saying, let me just give this 34. The salary. Now we need to add some other things. The department that's the director stays. Let's call it global marketing. And also one more field. With salary underscore Andre dot okay. Director dr no director. Okay, we now have it laid out the director. Now I'm going to leave this print statement for now. I'm going to come back to it. Now I'll tell you how to call on different objects of a class in the caller method, in the caller class anyway. We have a print employee, which takes the parameter of an object of employee from the which employee are you. That's just what that's doing in essence. It's print out the line, it's print to line. So it's also printing to line. Now in this print to line, we have to change this to the employee type. What type of employee are you? So what are we going to call to let us populate that? We first of all get the class. Get class. This is polymorphism at play. And also, okay, and also we get simple name. You can see it. Okay, when we get a class, we get the simple name, you concatenate it right there, you're fine. You know, so print to line. While we print to line, the employee object M. Print to line. Okay, this is not going to have any code. That's fine. This is how I'm going to head it. We're going to get a class, we're going to get a simple name, and also print to line. Now we need another method right down here. We call it public static, the static method. Void print employee. Okay. If you notice what we're doing over here, they call it overloading. You know, we are specifying the same type of method but with different parameters, or with more parameters. The first one is with a parameter, this second one will be of two parameters. We're going to first of all take the employee object, and also what? The employee stock plan. We'll give it what? Yes. Okay. The employee stock plan. And now, so we're going to print out, we're going to print employee, passing what? The emp objects, which is now the variable. Okay. We're going to do system.out.println. While we print it in console, the label stock options. Create a space with that. We concatenate it down our ESP. What we're going to get? We're going to get the grant stock method. I want to call the emp onto it. Okay. What are we going to import? We are going to import the Delaware Studio stock employee stock plan. We must import this package before the caller class can manipulate the object or can manipulate the method can manipulate the class rather based on the particular type of object that it extends. Now we're going to import that. Once we import that, it's fine. We import the employee stock plan and everything is fine. Aside that, these are two parameters. This is a parameter. For only this, it's going to select which one to run. But I want to run the guy of the two parameters, so I need to edit this. So I'm going to test. Let me highlight on this. We're going to test now. Let's test the application. I'm going to test the employee stock plan class. Okay, so we're going to first of all instantiate the employee stock plan, call it ESP, new keyword, employee stock plan. Okay, now when we're printing out this, I'm gonna add ESP to this. Okay, the admin also, I'm gonna add ESP to this. The manager, I'm gonna add ESP to this, which is the stock plan anyway. I'm gonna copy these out, paste it. The manager is going to be the director now. I'm gonna add ESP to it. So can you see how polymorphism is at play? We can be able to interact with different Java class based on their packages, based on the way they interrelate with each other, based on the way they extend and the way they share some of their fields, and we call different methods from them. You can see the way we are going to call a particular employee and assign his employee stock to it at the same time on the fly. So let's get this running. It's fine, it's perfect. I'm going to test this. I'm going to see in the console what we have so that we're going to know how robust our application is like. Let me run these. Let me click on my run button and let's have it at the console. Can you see the console? Well knitted up. We have the employee type, an engineer, the ID 101, Jane Smith, the name, SSN, the salary based on the dollar currency converter I used earlier. You can see how knitted this is. This is a good way to present your employees, assigning a lot of things to them, testing a lot of things on them as well, knowing the salary, increasing the salary on the fly. This is object-oriented programming, and polymorphism is our work. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you've learned a lot of things in this lesson, I'm going to upload this source code to my GitHub account so that you can lay your hands on it. You can use it so you can get access to it and understand perfectly how polymorphism really works. Thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful time. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.